Today on the podcast, we sit down with Munching Orange. With over 1 million subscribers in 15 years making Pokemon content on YouTube, this man is a true Pokemon master, and we got the chance to sit down with him to discuss Pokemon Legends ZA. We discuss new Mega Evolutions, returning characters, and which features we'd like to see in future Pokemon games. Mo helped us craft a ton of Pokemon theories. Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. My name is DustyGogoat. Today I'm also joined by TraderLumi.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up?
Let's get into the episode. All right, Munching Orange is with us today. We're going to be talking about Pokemon Legends ZA and everything else that we've actually never discussed with this man. So I'm pretty excited today. Can you tell our audience who you are and what you've done in the Pokemon space and why we're so excited to have you on today?
Sure. Well, I'm Ariel, or Ariel, but online, most people know me as Munching Orange, aka Mo, aka Munch, a man of many names and a man of many years at this point, the old man of Poketubing. So yeah, I started with Let's Plays about 15 years ago now, and slowly shifted to doing more theories and video essays from time to time. Just overall, a jack of all trades within Pokemon, I would say.
Tell us, how are you feeling about Pokemon Legends ZA? We've known about it forever. We finally got some information. We're finally seeing gameplay. Looks pretty good on Switch too. Where's your head at?
You know, I think it's finally time to come clean. I've made only about 17 videos glazing the game. So it's finally time for the truth to be revealed right here on Hidden Power Podcast.
Yes, we got an exclusive.
I think it's going to be all right.
All right.
For real? For real?
That's
For real?
perfect.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly I'm in the middle. I don't think it's going to be mind blowing, but I think it's going to be good. You know, not great, but just good.
Yeah, you know
I
what?
think it's mainly coming from the last trailer with the whole Z to A ranking. It does feel a little bit repetitive to me, so that's why I'm a little hesitant, but obviously we haven't seen everything, so
yeah.
Right.
You know what? Honestly, I'm kind of with you. I think I'm still waiting to see. I was hype a month or so, on Pokemon Day when we got information. Right. I think it is awesome to see. I'm looking forward to exploring. I still think there's so much that they haven't shown us. So because of that, I think 2 months out, sitting here in April, I'm we don't know when the game's coming out. I think it does look pretty good on Switch too. But I want to see so much. I really want to see so much before I'm really at that point where I'm stoked. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting game, and I'm always happy to see Pokemon experiment. This game seems to be a pretty big focus on not only battling, but it's a new type of battling, right? It's a new type of battle system, which is really exciting. Megas are coming back. But yeah, I think it's funny. I guess just maybe today, this is just how I'm feeling, but I think Gen 10 almost gets me more excited for the possibilities of what that next step could be on Switch too, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think if you've been following Pokemon for the last few years, you can see the building blocks. It's a slow process, but with this new battle system coming in, similar to Legends Arceus introduced the open world catching. I mean, I know it wasn't a full open world game, but you can see the influence that it had on Scarlet and Violet, you know? So definitely ZA. I'm actually most curious to see if they commit to this new real-time battle in Gen 10.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I mean, you guys can talk.
A lot of people think. Yeah.
I've heard some people say it. I really don't. I feel like if they're going to do it, it's going to be implemented. And let's put it this way. I don't think turn-based is going anywhere, but I could see them introducing the kind of, or a version of the Legends ZA battle mechanic as another thing. I think about the Let's Go feature, how you can send your Pokemon, maybe there's a thing like that, especially with the Synchro Machine.
Yeah.
And we've been kind of teased that the Synchro Machine is a beta version of something else. I think it's very possible there could be a mode where we can turn into our Pokemon and fight wild Pokemon in that turn-based battle system, in that real-time battle system. But the thing with the turn-based is VGC is, and maybe I'm biased because I love VGC. I've been to a couple tournaments.
That's fine. It's representative of a lot of people.
Biased, well, and that's the thing is, while I am biased, I have also seen firsthand the love for these things, and the fact that Orlando. What year did Scarlet and Violet come out? That was 2022, right? So Orlando 2023 was the biggest Pokemon tournament in history, like in attendance. Then Orlando 2024 or Charlotte 2024 was then the biggest. Then Orlando 2024 became the biggest. And just so you're seeing these numbers increasing with every tournament. And so I just don't see, I mean, the worlds are now having to do like a little virtual like lottery queue just so people can go to them. And so like my thing is the love behind that game, that turn-based game, is so huge. Not to mention you have some of the most, I think, kind of influential or popular, well-known Pokemon people are people in that field. Like I think about Wolf Glick. I mean, the Pokemon Company loves Wolf Glick. And so to take away the thing that Wolf Glick got famous doing and replace it with something else would be mind-blowing to me.
Well, the thing is, it's not ending though, like no matter what, because we do have champions now. That was
it might just be something else.
For sure, but I still think it'll remain in the main games, but I do think the real-time battle systems might be implemented into another thing. I mean, Pokemon always has like some kind of other battle mechanic, right? Like I think about like the battle royals and Sun and Moon, and
triple
things
battles.
Like that.
We got the terror raids.
I feel like they could implement it as another thing in the game, but I don't. I'm biased, and I'm also scared, if I'm honest, because I love the turn-based battles so much, and I don't want them to go anywhere.
It is Pokemon turn-based battles, like that is what it's always been. So it's like, you know, that's kind of what it is. To answer your question, Mo, I don't know how much you know about like, you know, development of what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, we don't know that much either. We just know from leaks and whatever. But they've already been working on Gen 10 like almost at the same time as Legends ZA, so it's like, you know, like they probably are sticking with the classic route for Gen 10. It feels that way. Who knows? But ZA, I feel like the Legends titles are their experimental vibes. But maybe like in Gen 11, I could see like, oh, this has been doing really well, and we don't know if we're gonna make another Legends game. Like maybe we just put in some action elements into the battle system or change it up. I feel like Gen 10 is still going to be turn-based, but
I think, okay, so again, something from the leaks that I've really stuck onto is there's this like, I don't know if it's like a press briefing or something, or it's like it's some sort of internal document where they're describing the purpose of Legends Arceus. And one of the lines that stood out to me was that they were kind of saying that they were building Legends Arceus as a game for quote-unquote gamers, right? More serious people who are looking for that, like,
I saw those. That it was like more targeted to the older, I guess, Pokemon fans.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think there's always a possibility that this type of real-time combat could make its way into the main series. But I guess my gut says if it does make its way into the main series, it actually would just be an add-on feature like the Synchro Machine, or maybe the raids function with this new real-time combat system. Or actually, what I really think is the answer is that this is just exclusive for the Legend series, right?
Yeah.
The Legend series is for more serious people. I think, you know, people in my life know I like Pokemon, but like I'm only out here advocating and promoting Legends Arceus and Legends ZA, mostly Legends Arceus, to friends who game generally, right? Every time there's a new Pokemon game, they go, oh, did you see the new Pokemon game? And I'm like, yeah. And I'll tell them if they're interested, but I'm not going to be like, you need to buy it. Because it's not for them, probably. But the Legends games, I've advocated for those. And my friends who have picked it up, who also play Dark Souls or whatever, are like, yeah, Legends Arceus was a really fun game. I'm glad I played it. I itched my nostalgia, right? But it's still something that I can enjoy in a more interactive way, right? So
yeah.
So that's, I guess I'm not so fearful that it's going to replace. And I think also the other thing I'm thinking about is that these Pokemon games have sold so well on the Switch. Why would they change that up on a whim? I think they're going to wait. I think they're going to wait to see how well Legends ZA performs, you know, financially. And I think they're also going to maybe add an element into Generation 10. And again, see how people feel about that. You know, maybe down the line it could change, but I think, I don't know. I think you guys have said all the right things where it's like the turn-based combat is so integral to the history and even the current competitive landscape, I don't see them replacing that.
Yeah, it's tough to say, especially with Pokemon Champions there. Like it's confirmed it's happening.
Just wild,
but it's also insane to hear. I think that's the first time I've heard someone say Gen 11 when Soul said it. I was just like, that seems mind blowing. Like,
it's not the first time we've said it on the pod. Yeah.
We're talking about being 50 years old and all this other stuff.
We're those toxic Pokemon fans that's like, they revealed Gen 10. We're like, that's great. I wonder what the next Legends game is.
Yeah, literally. that's what we are. But we also appreciate what we're playing right now.
Yeah. So much.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned too, like Legends, Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet, similarly to how we're seeing now, had a simultaneous development.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe. Okay. And we saw the influence that it had there. So that's why I'm kind of with you guys that I think we'll see it in some way. Maybe not take over turn-based, at least not yet. But it will probably be in there in some capacity.
Yeah. I think Synchro Machine, to be honest, because they didn't just like throw that in there for no reason. It was really random, like, this is this little thing that it is not fully complete. The prototype is what they said. This is the prototype version. Like, get ready.
But there's that part of me too that's like, they're gonna want to push Pokemon Champions. Yeah. So not this year, but maybe next World Championship, would they just switch to Pokemon Champions?
I think there's, I don't know. I think there's I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, we're talking about not 2026, 2027.
I feel like for next year, maybe they could. Maybe
for 2026, yeah, because at that point the new Mega Evolutions would be out,
right?
So they can do Terrestrial versus Mega.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Like especially if we're assuming, because we on the pod at least are assuming that ZA is going to drop like September, October. So if you then drop Champions like December, you have time to like run the bracket for like, prep for Worlds, like get the points for Worlds through the spring of that following year. And then Worlds do Champions so that you can do Mega versus Terrestrial, right? But I feel like when they do Gen 10, like when that releases, it'll probably have a new gimmick. And I feel like they'll want to switch over to that, or maybe they update Champions to have whatever this new gimmick is.
Yeah,
that is true.
The gimmick thing is one of the biggest pulls to like competitive. But another thing too is like I see so many people say in the VGC field, like they're like Terrestrial is the best VGC's ever been because it's so balanced and it's just it's the best gimmick. Like hands down. Whether you maybe people don't like the party hats or whatever, but the competitive prowess of it is like the best it's ever been. And so some people are like, Terrestrial's got to stay in Gen 10. It has to, because this is the best thing we've ever gotten.
Well, but it will change.
Going to stay in Gen 10.
It will change.
Right. Yeah. Well, but maybe they add things to it, I mean, sometimes they make it where gimmicks can like coexist, right? Like we're seeing Mega's going to coexist with Terrestrial, and we've seen Mega coexist with Z moves.
I guess it would be.
And I feel like that's such a good way to do it too, because you can, if you have all those things in Champions, you can easily recycle those so VGC never gets stale, because you just go, hey, this year we're only allowing Z moves and Dynamax or whatever it might be. Those are actually a horrible combo, but as an example, they can just switch out what gimmicks are usable, so they're constantly changing the competitive scene. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, because like I feel like they'd want the Gen 10 game to be at the forefront. So I feel like they'd have to do VGC on that for a little bit, and then maybe later, like as Gen 10's coming to a close, you go, hey, Champions is getting an update and it's going to have this Gen 10 gimmick. Kind of like now how they're going, oh, you can play with Megas and Terrestrial now. Well, then they go, hey, we're moving to Champions at the end of Gen 10. We're moving to Champions, and now you can play with Terrestrial and whatever this new gimmick that you've been using in Gen 10 is.
Yeah,
that's kind of tricky, because like you say, they would want to for sure feature Gen 10 whenever that comes out. But then would they, like at that point, Champions would be done? It was just like a 1 year kind of thing? Or like you said, in the future, they can update it again, but that's like a whole year that Champions is just kind of like in limbo, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, and how soon do they want to update it too? Because like we get new Pokemon pretty much every year. Last year's the first year in a really long time we have not gotten a new Pokemon. But like you're gonna get in 2026, you're gonna get the brand new like 100-ish batch of Gen 10 Pokemon, right? And then
it could be 60, 70.
It could, but like there's at least like the time it was 70, there were forms to where it was like, and I think Game Freak's counting Megas as like new Pokemon. Yeah. But you're gonna get the Gen 10 Pokemon. Then the very next year, you're probably gonna get Gen 10 DLC, so you're gonna get 10 new Pokemon or forms, and then the next year, or maybe 2 years later, you're getting. So like, are they gonna update champions every year to incorporate those, and how soon after?
It's the gimmick too. The gimmick is like, if Gen 10 has that new gimmick, that's what really like makes champions at that point feel a little bit like a question mark. Do they update champions? Like
no, totally.
I'm so ready to get more information on that. I'm not gonna lie, people are like, I want Legends EA news, I want to see the new Mega, and I'm over here like, dude, I'm excited for ZA. So when I say this, no, I am so excited for ZA. Yeah. But screw ZA, I want champions. What
I'm just thinking about too is champions. Like in terms of a full game, there's no world. It's just the battling, right? So in terms of performance, it'll instantly be better because there's not as much.
Yeah.
So
they're focusing. The developers are focusing on one thing, one aspect. of the Pokemon game.
So I wonder if they would eventually try to bring the real-time battles into champions, or potentially like an online version of
as
that.
Like a side version, like as another option for combat.
Because I don't know if it's just me, but I would love to do online battles with that new system. But obviously with Nintendo, with the lag, it's
that's very true.
My vision for Pokemon Champions would be something where, honestly, akin to Showdown, where you have the option to do these different like you can say that you want to play a Gen 5 meta, but visually you actually would just play with the sprites, essentially. I don't think that would be difficult to do. Like I can envision it so clearly.
Bro, I do not see.
Why would they
never do it?
I don't know if they would never do it.
It'd be like a reverse X and Y situation. They'd have to make sprites for like 6 generations or something.
I mean,
and also too, like,
no, but it would be limited to what already exists in Gen 5.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it'd be the Gen 5.
You're not making anything new. You're just reusing.
They don't
assets.
like to go backwards like that, though. So I feel like they wouldn't want to do, because like, where's the line with that? Is it just the Gen 3 meta and that they're sprites, or is it also the Gen 3 meta in the sense that there's the physical special split is based on type, not by move.
Yes.
And these moves aren't allowed, and these abilities don't exist, and these Pokemon
that already
don't
all exist. Showdown has cataloged it, and they and Pokemon
Showdown
Game Freak,
but I don't think Pokemon
Game Freak
likes to have
that.
their stuff consistent. And
yeah,
so
but I
feel
think
like,
Champions is different,
especially when you think like how. Like the big thing that I think of is how type combinations work differently. Like, okay, if we're in a Gen 3 meta, Clefairy is a normal type Pokemon.
That's actually
so.
That's a good
I don't think they're gonna want to go backwards like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of good. I didn't think about any of this stuff actually, because my response to your question probably would have been, I think that they're just gonna put champions like as a different circuit. Like they're still gonna do. I was gonna say Sword and Shield, but Scarlet and Violet as like the main thing for worlds and
also
competitive.
Champions would be like another game they add on, kind of like they have Unite, Pokemon Go.
Exactly.
Champions would be separate. Okay.
That's
I
how
thought
I
about
think
that as well.
They're gonna do it. Yeah,
but if the battles and champions are still like turn based, I feel like they wouldn't do that. I feel like it would either replace Scarlet and Violet or not be in there at all, because like
this is where we go to Gen 10's gonna be real time.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough.
But that's another thing about real time, is that like that removes a lot of what has become like fundamentals in Pokemon, right? Like for one, we don't know how like stats will work in these games, like speed, because like a Pokemon like Hippowdon moves slower than a Pokemon like Swellow, but then also their speed like there's just so many questions on how they're going to incorporate that. Abilities aren't a thing altogether.
It's as different of a game
not
as
be a
Pokemon
thing
Unite.
in battle systems. Yeah, I don't know.
I really think they're
There's so many
fundamentally
questions.
different games. Like for the same reason why Lumi, you don't have an interest in like the TCG. This is the same thing. Like Legends, the Legends real-time combat is going to be just as drastically different of a meta. Like I think it's a completely different system.
And there's a lot of people being vocal about like specifically VGC players that are not excited for the ZA gameplay, because it's just that's what that's what Pokemon has been for like.
Some of these people like Pokemon VGC. They don't care about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They care about Pokemon VGC. Like, they're not really Pokemon fans. They're VGC fans.
But I think
some of these people,
that's really what the conversation is, right? I think we're all being protective of like. I think the mainline games, every new generation, has always been like the ultimate version of a game. And that's how we look at it. We're like, it needs to have everything that I would ever want to do in a Pokemon game. And I think they're stripping these things away. And maybe the Legends games are that real-time combat. It's still an RPG. Legends Arceus was an action RPG. It didn't have this like real-time combat. But like they could just keep going down that path where the only real-time combat, like you can get that in a Pokemon game, but it's going to be separate from the mainline games, right? And they could also strip, basically, maybe this is the thing, maybe they strip VGC, and that's what's going into Champions. And now the mainline games can be just general fandom as a hub, right? It can be shiny hunting, it can be, whatever else you collecting, right? Even battling your friends, but not at a competitive level, not right? It removes any sort of like extreme version of fandom from that, and you're left with just like fun stuff in a Pokemon game, right?
Yeah.
So people can focus on the story.
It'd be a wild timeline if it's like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then Pokemon Legends ZA are like the battle circuits for Worlds instead, and they leave Champions out. Like Champions is just on its own. It's just like,
I don't know.
Because I could see. I guess cool. I'm imagining like. Because another aspect of this is like Pokemon wants to at Worlds, right, which is essentially their Comic-Con, right? It's the Pokemon Con is the World Tournament, right? They've said that they want to like introduce more of these into the future. But
start letting more people in.
yeah, that's true. They do need to start doing that. And so I can see, right, they obviously want to talk about the latest game. And even if the battles are hosted in Champions, it could be like they just call it they'll just name the circuit or the season after the video game. So you're still promoting like the meta of the current video game, right? Which you probably could still play. I think also something I'm thinking about is like Champions is also going to be on mobile, right? So I don't think there's a world where like Champions really is not like it. You don't go to the store and buy it. I don't even think there'll be like serious microtransactions.
Version, right?
Yeah. I think there'll be no barrier to entry. I think you buy Scarlet and Violet or whatever you buy Generation 10, let's say. You put that into your Switch 2, and because you already have Champions downloaded, Champions now reads that you have been playing Generation 10, and now it unlocks that like the Gen 10 meta for you to play, right? So
yeah, I could. It's
just a lot. It's just a lot, especially with new Pokemon as well.
The best way to implement the Legend stuff, I really feel like, is like, imagine a Pokemon game. Like, as you're going through the main story of a Pokemon game, you have two elements. You have the trainers that you're going to face, trainers on routes, gym leaders, maybe, the evil team, your rival, stuff like that. And then you have the wild Pokemon that you're trying to catch. And I feel like a really cool way, my own dream way of implementing it would be like, have the wild battles be these kind of real-time battles, and maybe even have it where like in Gen 10, Gen 11, the main, not main series because Legends is main series, but the traditional Pokemon game, have the Pokemon attack you, have that be an action element when you're dealing with the wild Pokemon. But anytime it's trainers, it's you're gonna use a more sophisticated battle, and it'll be that turn-based, right? Because that kind of feels real too, right? Like,
lore-wise, that kind of makes sense. Like, they have the guidelines.
Right. If I'm battling a wild Ursaring, it's not going to respect that. Hey, I just used Slash, so I'm going to sit here and wait.
Buddy.
And you can you can use Thunderbolt on me now. Come on, hit me, No.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, but it's fun to talk about. It's definitely fun to talk about. So, all right, we talked about, Megas are coming back in Pokemon Legends ZA. Where's your brain at with
Champions.
that?
In terms of them coming back, I mean, I'm excited. I think Mega is still my favorite gimmick, at least design wise. I know they're not like the most creative sometimes, but
yeah,
I think it's just cool to have that extra stage of evolution.
No, definitely. And they'll also function differently in Legends ZA, right? It's
definitely.
It's less of just like a win button and more of a. I mean, listen, maybe it's still an instant win button.
It's a win button.
Look, every
but
time we
mechanically,
see
it
one
looks
in
a
the
lot
trailers,
different.
the enemy gets one shot. So maybe
it's true.
It's
true. But
there's a meter. It functions differently.
Yeah, you've been doing breakdowns of the trailer, so you've seen like the Diggersby thing, right? So like
Diggersby though.
Can like normal Pokemon use the like the C plus thing, you know? Like the moves. So maybe
what even is that?
I actually think it's like a circle with the plus in it, but that's
that was I did a theory recently, and I think in my breakdown I also said it looks like a C, so it could still be a C, but I think it looks like the meter. You can kind of see it filling up. So that was my theory, was that it relates to filling up the bar. So I guess the C plus is sort of like, you guys remember the move mastery in Legends Arceus?
Yeah.
So once you like master a move, then you get the C plus on it, and using that move can maybe fill up your meter more than a regular move. Because you can see with Diggersby, at least, it has 3 moves have it, but then Dig doesn't have it. And someone pointed out to me that Diggersby, at least in the current games, learns Dig later on. I think like level 28 or something. And the Diggersby in the trailer was around level 30 something. So it wouldn't have mastered it yet.
That makes total sense to me. That makes sense.
That's good. I like that. I like that whole system of like mastering moves. That feels like,
I love that,
you know, you're taking that term Pokemon trainer and you're making it literal. You're not just catching and battling. You're raising these things, and you're like, I think about, you know,
you have to unlock
where
the
Ash
power.
just like having to get his Scraggy to land focus blasts, you know?
Yeah, with the real-time battle, that could be a factor in it too. Like, it's not just using the move 50 times. Like, you might actually have to land it, or maybe with Dig you have to dodge attacks with it or something. There could be like layers to it.
All that sounds so much fun to me.
It does sound fun. My point with it really is that it can kind of like maybe compete with Megas, because that's what we were talking about. Like, you know, just like it makes regular Pokemon have a little bit of a, not advantage, but they can compete. You know what I mean? With Megas using that.
That was the other thing that I noticed, is that when the meter's full, the C plus lights up. Versus when it's not full, the C plus is still there, but it's dim. I think you see it in the Lucario battle. So definitely a theory, but it could be that all Pokemon can use the meter in that sense.
It could also be some sort of like cooldown functionality, right? Like, if we're looking at this like a video game, right? You use the attack, and then you have to wait a certain period of time before you could use it again, and that would be a substitute for the current, right? The PP system, the PowerPoint system, with the turn-based combat. I don't know. I think it actually, the more we think about it, I'm excited to just get my hands on this and actually play it. I so wish that we got a treehouse. A Nintendo Treehouse with Legends.
I know.
I watched like 3 hours of the little tech demo.
Hold that thought. We want to thank our sponsors. Lumi, hit it.
Yeah, so we want to thank all of you lovely people out there supporting the show, but we want to give a special named shout out to our mythical tier members: Ryan Amphosinus, Coronet Highlander, Chris, Tyler Low 15, J Moss, Doom Typhlosion, Case, Astro Tempest, Shiny, Sully the Skeleton, Nerdy Seb, Hana's Dad, NMT Arts, Gray Williams, Travis Edwards, Northender, and the Pokey Kiddo 1. We want to give a shout out to our Arceus tier members: SEH Art Gold and Red or Carson K, and a mega evolved shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level members: Young Smokey, Bramtastic, and Camon Dub.
Oh my God!
Yo,
I'm sweating. I'm sweating.
Realist.
That
Me
list
too,
gets.
I gotta catch my breath, man.
I think I've got heartburn. That's how long that list is. You guys are.
The list is more impressive, or Lumi reading it is more impressive.
Without yawning or like something. Thank you guys for all the continued support.
Thank you so much.
This community gets bigger and bigger, and like we've said from the beginning, we don't have sponsors, and also you guys are the sponsors. This show can only exist because of you guys, right? You guys show up every week. Not only are you listening on Spotify, not only are you watching on YouTube, leaving comments, liking, you've subscribed, but you guys are showing up to donate, to support, to literally fund the existence and the production of this show. We're growing our team. We're hiring editors. We're hiring social media people. We're trying to bring this show to the masses. We're continuing to collaborate with some awesome guests, trying to bring the best Pokemon discussions to you guys. And that's only possible with your funding. So just thank you so much. If you want your name read, you can become a mythical tier channel supporter. Let me show you right here, right on Patreon. The mythical tier supporter, the tier gets you producer credits on the show, and of course you get bragging rights. That's without saying. And then you get everything else that we offer at the $5 tier, which is full access to the secret Discord. We've got so many people, probably like over 200 people, fans of the show, community members, and guests, people that we've had on the show, creators, are also in that Discord. We're always yapping about Pokemon and just whatever we got going on in our real lives. You can talk to us there. Also, within the secret Discord, that's the only way you can actually join the Battle League. Lumi, you want to tell me a little bit about the Battle League?
Yeah, so we got gym leaders, we've got an Elite Four, all of which are waiting to take you on. We also do tournaments every so often. We've got a tournament that we're planning to do later on. So yeah, sign up and you can read all about the Battle League and all about the tournaments. They're fun, man. They're fun. I enter them and they're tough too. So if you're thinking, nah, I don't want to play a little easy game where someone's going to use a Weedle against me. Nah, these people, we got a guy, he's an Elite Four member and a gym leader. And you know what? That guy actually competes in tournaments. He has been in a regionals where he day 2'd, so it's tough. It's tough. You think you're good? Come in here and see if you're good.
I really hope Legends EA has some co-op capabilities, because it would be so much fun to actually battle each other in the Discord.
Oh, that'd be wild.
In Legends EA. I mean, regardless, we're going to be doing it with Generation 10 next year. So
for sure.
Possibly Champions.
Yeah, that is actually true. We will be able to have a Champions League in the Battle League. Also, if you join the secret Discord, we do these call-in shows. Probably, we're actually due for another one, where if you're in the Discord and you're supporting, you can call us. We basically record the podcast live in the Discord, and you can call in and be on the show. And then we publish those later on the podcast, or just, we publish it later on as a podcast. You also get access to a bunch of monthly bonus content. Sometimes that is exclusive interviews. This week's episode is literally a bonus episode with Munching Orange. So if you're enjoying this episode, yeah, dude, hype. There's a whole nother episode available right now on Patreon. Also on if you want to become a YouTube channel member, you can also do that. The prices are the same, and all the perks are also the same. So that's also available to you. But there's probably like 100 hours of bonus content from over the last 2 years. You get access to all of that. If you're doing your morning commute listening to us right now, and you're like, damn, I've already listened to all the public episodes. Well, there's a lot of content you haven't listened to that could get you through another couple months of commutes, of daily commutes or whatever. Or
there's like over 100 hours, man.
There's so much stuff.
Pull it up. That'll get you through work next 100 days.
So much
we're
stuff.
only doing more. So
it's actually insane. Let me pull up right here some of the stuff.
Yeah, like we say monthly, but to be honest, I feel like we end up actually doing them more than monthly. Like,
yeah, I agree.
We get them out pretty often, honestly.
We got exclusive interviews with our friends Infamous Trainer, Loxton. We got AJ here, Lord Keeper Toby. Here's an episode that's not even public yet, but you'll see this soon. This is with Thatch from the Puckle podcast. We're going to be dropping that very soon. Spoilers. We got so much stuff in here. Yeah, Steve from the PKMN cast. Ron is here. Cup of Fee is here. We've worked with a lot of people over the years. My buddy, my high school friend, Matt. I love that. That's great. There's honestly so many people. We haven't had Wolf Click on yet, but maybe one day. Let's see what else. And you get 10% off merch forever. So that's what you get at the $5 tier. $5 gets you into the door. You get access to everything. If you want your name read on the show, the mythical tier right here, $25 a month, gets you all access to that. All of the links are in the description. If you're invested in the show, please invest in the show. We're growing. and we can only do it with your help. What were you saying, Mo?
I feel like it might work where with megas it doesn't cost anything to use the
Maybe.
C+ thing.
Yeah.
And then with regular Pokemon it does. So like that's the advantage of having a mega.
Maybe,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know. I just
Sure, it's really the power.
If you compare them, it's like, why do they have it? Like I think they're always lit up for the megas because they already have the energy, and I think their energy is just running out because they're mega evolved instead.
Sure,
that's interesting. We might not even know if Pokemon have like base stats. I mean, they probably do, but like we don't know how all that back end stuff works.
A little bit, but it'll probably be like tweaked a little bit, like with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and with Legends Arceus. Some things work differently, like IVs, and I don't know if Eevee, I don't remember, but there were like with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, at least there were like candies, or something.
Yeah. Arceus had the grit stones, and I think it was a completely different system that wasn't EVs or IVs. It was like their own thing.
Yeah,
right. So I feel like they're going to do something like that again. So there will be stats. They just won't be the stats that Scarlet and Violet has.
Yeah.
I do hope on the subject of megas, though. I really hope that one thing they correct from X and Y is that we actually face a lot of trainers with megas.
Yeah.
Because, like, in X and Y, you only battle a handful of people. Like, off the top of my head, it's like, in the main story, you battle Lysander, you do that one battle with Karina and Lucario, you battle Diantha. I'm blanking on if there's another mega in the main story of the game that you battle.
I feel like only you would know these things. So,
and that's
you don't
bad.
know then.
That's bad. Only 3 megas. I do feel like it is more than that. I feel like I'm lowballing and I'm forgetting someone or maybe a couple people, but that's not good. Like the Elite Four should have had megas. Honestly, if you ask me,
that's actually one of the reasons I love Oras. They definitely had more of that.
Yeah,
like the Elite Four members had it.
One. Yep.
Are there any elements from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? Or we talked in the Patreon episode that's up right now. We talked, and you said that Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire were your like favorite games, or at least the Gen 3 games. And
spoiler.
Do you think any of those elements could carry over into Legends EA? Because when this game was first announced, right, the idea of a sequel or a revisit to Kalos, to me that means absolutely all of these. I feel like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were like almost a spiritual sequel to Pokemon X and Y. There was a lot of lore things, and even some like background story elements that were continued in that game, right?
It was the Better Call Saul to X and Y's Breaking Bad.
Sure. I haven't watched either of those, but I agree.
Calling X and Y Breaking Bad, I think is
yeah, for real. X and Y is Breaking Bad.
The Breaking Bad of Pokemon. That's a hot take. No, but definitely, like it's just so hard to tell with Pokemon because so many times, especially with the story, they'll set up little nuggets and then just completely forget about them. You know, like with the whole Faller thing. What happened with that?
Yeah,
I'm not too much of a lore head, so maybe you guys know more. But it seems that Looker, or at least the Looker Bureau, is in one of the trailers. So we're definitely going to see some characters from X and Y. I don't know if that means like they're actually going to tie back to the whole alternate timelines thing, like the Mega Evolution and the OG timeline.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. Like, I'd love if they actually expanded on it, or maybe even if they retcon some stuff, like, because Omega Ruby, the big thing was that Mega Evolution, the whole lore of it was basically changed, to be from like, there are these evil creatures like pushing past the limits to now it's like, oh, it's actually a natural thing. It came from space. It's like, well, okay.
No, it did. The lore between those games were so inconsistent. Like Sycamore's like, oh, the first Pokemon to Mega Evolve was a Lucario by a trainer, and also Mega Evolutions are from the Ultimate Weapon. And then Oris, they're like, no, they're not. They're from space, and Rayquaza Mega Evolved first.
Which is cool because
it is consistent.
Yeah, which is cool because like we're almost seeing. I mean, that's what happens in the real world, right? Different people with different experiences will come to different conclusions. Especially in science, and then it's all iterative. It just kind of gets.
We used to say the sun revolved around the Earth, and then you find out that's not true.
Yeah. Some character
Antarctica not a wall.
Yeah,
I thought Antarctica was a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the Great Wall in Game of Thrones. I thought that's what that was.
Is the Pokemon world a flat Earth?
I think it technically is.
Could be.
We don't know. We've never seen a map.
We got to do a full deep dive on that.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Actually, when the ultimate weapon gets fired, you see the curvature though.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
True. There you go. There you go. The Pokemon. Take that, flat earthers.
That's funny.
Combat that. Pokemon's world is round. It's spherical.
Actually, yeah, that makes sense because even with in Generation 2, the animation for seismic toss is, or even in the anime, Charizard lifts Blastoise and they go around the Earth. There it is.
Yeah. And when you see Earth when you go into space.
That's
to
true.
Fight Deoxys.
Here we go. Okay, this is good. We're cooking. But yeah, I want to see Zevia. I would love to see Rayquaza show up, even if it's just post game. That would be so cool. And I guess the other question is like, I think we're assuming that Legends ZA is going to be like it'll mirror the distance or the time that has passed from when X and Y debuted to current day. So like at least 10 years is what I'm predicting. Right? Maybe a nice 15 years would be kind of cool to see familiar characters age up and see what maybe they're doing in the world now in Lumio City. And the fact that it's a city, and you could say some of these characters wouldn't show up, but it's a city. It would also make sense that these characters would visit the most, especially significant characters, right, that are doing stuff, whether they're gym leaders or whatever, would visit Lumio City to check out whatever is happening at the...
Yeah. There was a lot of younger gym leaders in X and Y too, so I feel like it'd be a missed opportunity for them not to show up. But like I said, Pokemon does that a lot.
It's true.
Ramos is dead though.
Oh yeah, R.I.P.
Oh no,
R.I.P.
Unless he got his hands on the ultimate weapon and immortalized himself, Ramos gone.
Dude, I hope, that'd be sick. He's super tall.
There's so many.
We get Eternal Flower Gogoat, or what does he have? Weeping Bell.
Gogoat's his ace. You're right.
Yeah. Eternal Flower Gogoat. Let's go. Eternal Pelt.
There's so many.
Gogoat.
There's so many characters that are like directly related to Lumio City too. Like just off the top of my head, obviously you got Clement and Bonnie are there. Alexa works there. Sycamore is there. You have Dexio and Cena live there.
Yeah.
Trevor actually lives there. Like you don't.
But I think
see him in his house, but you can find his house. And there's so many characters who like work there, like Cybold and I think Malva.
Yeah, but I think there's even an opportunity, again, because it's a city, for the Elite Four members to show up. For characters, I mean, it's literally Paris. This is like one of the most...
Yeah, it's Paris.
This is the most like visited... My parents were just in Paris, and they never go anywhere.
Too. People that live outside the city, they're always commuting into it. So it's,
but I could
at some point.
I could even see characters from Hoenn, right? Visiting in people like Steven Stone, 100%. Like if
maybe that's how they give you the Hoenn starters.
Honestly,
like,
can I make that prediction?
Steven Stone shows up.
Steven Stone is going to show up in this game. He's going to travel to Lumio City.
Lore-wise, he was like the Mega Evolution guy, right? So,
True.
And Devon Corporation, I think they were the ones that coined the Infinity Energy thing. So pretty cool.
So many characters that I'd love to see.
Beldum isn't in the Kalos decks, so if Mega Metagross is in the game, that'd be a cool way to do it. Is have Steven pop in and be like,
"Let's go.
Boom, here's a Beldum." And that's kind of the thing Steven's known for, right? Is giving you a Beldum.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
He does that in Heart Gold and Soul Silver as well, doesn't he? He does it. I know he does it. Yeah, I knew he did it in the Hoenn games, and I was like, I think he did twice.
He's a Beldum breeder. That's his true job.
He is not the champion. He's not like some guy who hunts stones. Nah, he's a Beldum breeder.
Yeah. So there's a lot of possibilities. Obviously,
I think you mentioned Trevor's house too. I picked up on the Lumios map. There's like that building with the two. I think it's Pidgeys. There's like some birds on it. In the Lumios map, and that matches up with where Trevor's house would have been in the original X and Y.
Okay.
So that's kind of what my theory is, that might be related to Trevor.
Seeing him show up would be cool. I've said this so many times, but look, if this game is, if we're looking at the real world, it's been 12 years since X and Y, so I'm kind of thinking maybe they'll say it's been 12 years since the events of X and Y, because they like to do that, like with Black 2 and White 2 to Black and White and all. But I think it'll be so funny if it's 12 years later. Bonnie is now 18, so she's an adult. So it'd be cool to like Bonnie's the champion. I would love that.
Crazy.
That'd be pretty cool. Honestly, that would be kind of
2-year-old Elite Four in Scarlet.
I know, seriously. I still don't understand that. The baby, the adult baby, champion
Poppy,
in the Paldean region. I don't understand that. Is she just was she hit with the infinity energy? Was she hit with the?
She is a
life?
kid.
Yeah,
She is a kid.
She's
She's just like a child prodigy.
Insane,
Like,
dude.
with
That's
battling.
crazy.
Yeah, that is. How do you find that? You know what I mean? Like, are you just like chilling one day and you just look over and you see some little girl like commanding a Tinkaton, just like destroying wild Pokemon? You're just like, little girl, we got an open slot in the Elite Four.
It's the next generation. She was the prodigy that came after youngster Joey in his top tier Rattata. So I love.
All I'm saying is the Scarlet and Violet trainers were so easy to beat that even the Elite Four went, let's just reuse a gym leader as an Elite Four member and let's just find some random preschooler and
hire
make her
this
one.
baby.
Mo, what did you think about Scarlet and Violet? Did you have fun with that game? I mean, we've had it now for over 2 years. It's been kind of it's been an interesting generation, I think.
It was different in terms of how I found enjoyment within it. I'd actually never completed a Pokedex any other game, but Scarlet and Violet was the first one where I actually like wanted to fill it up. I guess Legends Arceus, my bad. That was the first one. So it definitely influenced it.
Right.
But yeah, so I enjoyed it in a different way. Like the main story was definitely, to me, not one of the weaker ones, but I guess it was a little bit like, not my favorite, we'll just say. But I enjoyed the post game a lot, and specifically the Dex aspect of it. And then when the DLCs came out, it was like banger, absolute.
Yeah. That's funny. A lot of people say the story of Scarlet and Violet is like one of the pros, like one of the good.
Yeah, I
things
should actually rephrase. I meant like not the story itself, but like the story, like the gameplay of the main. Sure. How do I word it? I don't know.
No, I think Am I right to assume that you're talking about like the game the again I'm even trying to
the
say
story mode, like the single player aspect, not
the campaign.
Post-game. Like I enjoyed the post game. Yeah, the campaign. There you go.
Yes.
The campaign was not one of my favorite, but I did really like the story. But honestly, like Arvin carries the story, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that was maybe influenced by the open world? Like maybe you didn't like the open world of Scarlet and Violet?
I can say I like the open world a lot more when there's like certain mods involved.
Oh, interesting.
Mainly performance and like a little bit of level scaling in there, you know? And it's a lot more.
But the level scaling was huge. Was huge.
You know, that makes me think too, talking about the campaign, kind of bringing back up what we said about real-time battling moving in. Think about kind of how they did like Starfall Street, where it like implemented the Let's Go feature, and that was like how you did that. I could easily see them doing that in Gen 10, just going like, there is this part of the plot, like Starfall Street, where it's like you send in your Pokemon, you real-time battle the villains. That just makes so much sense, because again, like talking about the wild Pokemon, a villain is not gonna respect the battling. You know, he's gonna be like, everyone go attack this kid, they're raiding our base, and so you're gonna real-time battle, fight through it. That
they might pull out a 7th Pokemon on you.
Not to like bring that back up again. I know we moved on from it, but it just hit me.
I love that. I think that would be a really great implementation. And there kind of were a lot of. I mean, I really only noticed it with the Let's Go feature, but that mission or whatever, that part of the story that you played through is really like it's supposed to highlight and utilize the Let's Go feature. So it would make sense that that's just a continuation. That would be a really great way to integrate the real-time battles. I think I would actually welcome that. That would be cool. Right. But yeah, I think those little missions, I don't know, just tell me more about like what you did not like about the campaign, or maybe what you liked about the games.
I guess it's the world itself. It just felt a little half-baked. Like there is a lot of really cool details in it, but in between those, it's just a lot of like nothing going on.
Sure.
And a lot of the trainers are really, really easy. Like besides for the main story trainers, pretty much every trainer in Scarlet and Violet is just like one click, you know, spam A kind of thing.
Yeah. Like 2 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And the world itself looked bland to me too. Like a lot of it, you know, save a few really cool spots, like the top right of Paldea with the bamboo and all, and then the what is it called, SoulSilverArt Trail, the like little fall area where you can get Tinglu. Those areas are really cool. Area Zero's obviously really cool, but like the entire southwest of the map is just so bland.
It's like Windows
and
XP
redundant.
wallpaper.
Yes, yeah, but you know, in like Minecraft, like that's like the look of it. Like it doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
You mentioned that top left area. It's really cool, but you don't even get to go there really in the story. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird.
But there is a lot of fun stuff to do though, and I think that's why I enjoyed the post game almost more than the campaign. Minus like the climax, I think is the best in Pokemon though. Like that whole sequence in Area Zero, and then the DLC as well. All of that was amazing. But I think it's just the base Paldea.
What's interesting is like, I think there's a really cool payoff with Area Zero because like you spend the whole game being able to go anywhere you want except for Area Zero. So no matter what it's almost like everyone has a different experience in their playthrough. And then eventually it bottlenecks to the same exact linear end of the story, right? And I think that's really cool because that's the only thing about the game that's like a shared experience. But I also wonder like if that linear experience at the end of the game that we all enjoy, that everyone that we talk to says Area Zero is the best part of the game. I wonder if maybe if that's indicative to the fact that we should go back to a linear Pokemon experience that has open world elements, right? Almost like an open world that you can traverse to, but you still have to do things in a more linear fashion, right? Because I think with that, there is a lot more intent by the creators of the game, right? To deliver a story. I feel like I enjoy the open world of Paldea in concept and in post game. Like when I have a mission, like it's great to be able to explore the region and just random Pokemon show up. I guess obviously I wish there was more variance in a lot of things to make it feel a little bit more, just to enhance the feeling of discoverability. But yeah, in the actual playthrough of the game, I felt aimless oftentimes, and I felt like there was never a reason to like go to the next gym, right? And I'd end up spending too much time in one area. I'd get over leveled, and I'm like, shoot, I was having fun not doing the campaign. Now I have to go back to the campaign. And I guess that kind of happens in any, really, like, I mean, I've played hours and hours of Skyrim, and that's usually what happens, of GTA, same thing. But I guess with those games, when you go to do the mission, it's still challenging. When you go to do the actual boss battles or whatever, it's still challenging because the game scales with you. So
I think now that you bring up those types of games, one of the aspects that I think if Pokemon continues to go open world, they definitely need to implement more side quests that actually give you an objective to want to go explore. Because often the NPCs, you know, they live up to the term NPC for real. Like they're just
they do.
Two dialogue, two sentences. I mean, and that's
pointless
it.
Ones. Pointless.
Yeah,
for no reason.
It'd be cool if it would give you more of a reason to I've heard rumors of this weird Pokemon with like flaming eyes, and you have to figure out that that's like Charcadet, and they'll like give you a hint like, oh, it's over here in this area. Can you catch one for me? And then you can like trade with them for the armor, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
I think about like the Ranger side quests. They were a lot like that, where it was like, hey, there's a Pokemon kind of terrorizing people over at those cliffs, and it, you know, has a blue head, and you go over there and it's Kratos, you know?
Yeah. That is fun. I'm always seeking the discoverability. Like in post game, I didn't actually systematically capture every like Snackworth legend. I like unlocked them all, but I never went on a quest to actually capture them all. So now when I'm playing the game and I'm like just doing I'm like, oh, there's a cool Pokemon over here. Maybe I'll go shiny hunt that horde, and I find a Latios, and I'm like, it's shocking, you know. It's so much fun, and I think it actually gives me a little bit of that. I guess what I loved about Generation 2, 3, 4, these roaming Pokemon, even Generation 5, right? These Pokemon that just appear randomly, right? Or they're hanging out in the pixel art overworld, you know? Like, I think it gives me a little bit of that feeling. I guess I wish there was more purpose to them, because they are just, I don't know, Pokemon does this thing where they almost make a joke out of, they're a little bit, like they break the fourth wall, and I feel like they include jokes to explain how, I don't know, just like irrelevant the reason is for why a Pokemon will appear, like a legendary Pokemon will appear, you know? Like Snacksworth. I'm like, you could do anything to make it more interesting, but you got to make the guy's name a pun, you know?
But Snacksworth was kind of cool, though. He like
I don't know. I don't like it as much. The effect is cool.
Like
but...
he saw these things. You know?
Yeah, and that's neat. But I'm with you, Dusty. Like it would be cooler if Snacksworth was like, hey, did you know that sometimes Kubfu come down from the mountains to train in this bamboo forest in Paldea instead of like. I was out there eating sandwiches.
Yeah,
turns
I
out
dropped my Ritz crackers.
Kubfu's favorite sandwich is a peanut butter jelly. I had that on me, so he just showed up. You know, here's a peanut butter jelly sandwich. You go find you a Kubfu. You know,
and why can't his name
I thought it was funny? Though.
And what if his last name is like Sycamore, right, or something, right? And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, maybe there's a connection, right? Oh, that's a little bit. Just give him any normal last name. That's not a joke. So now I could be like,
with it. Like, give him the meme name, but a legitimate,
very serious
like he's a good researcher, or he has the clout basically, but he's a joke of a character.
You know, a good joke character is Careless, right? Because you have to squint a bit to understand that her name is actually Careless, and she's careless about her profession.
I mean, it's Snacksworth in Gen 9. Gen 10, it'll be Mr. Talk to Me to get a legendary. You know, like that'll just directly be his name.
Oh, no.
It's so funny. Yeah.
They did that with like the Heart Gold and Soul Silver characters too, I think, where like there were some that you could see on different days of the week. And I think like the girl that appeared on Friday, her name was like Frida or something.
Yeah. See, that's fine.
Like, that's fun, yeah.
Frida the Friday. Yeah, I like that. That's fun.
It kind of reminds me of Legends Arceus too, where there was, and I brought up the side quest too, like the one for Manaphy, I think it was. Like it was just some random excerpt from like an old book, and you had to figure it out. And obviously with the internet, once people on the internet put it out there, but still like getting to that point where the collective internet figured it out, it was a cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
But then the downside of that is things like evolving a Galarian Yamask, where it's like.
The internet still figured
it out. They did. Coding, you know what I mean? Like, they figured it out by coding. No one figured that out, you know what I mean?
But I think
there's no NPC. An NPC should, because at least, like, with Manaphy, you had an excerpt that, like, gave you little teases, like, oh, I think I need to have an Overquill in my party and all this. But in Sword and Shield, I almost said Scarlet and Violet. In Sword and Shield, there is no one, like, even suggesting, like, do you know that, like, Yamask tend to, like, gather at the stone? I wonder what that's about. Nothing. You just have to get lucky, I guess.
As crazy as it is, like, I do kind of appreciate that because it does. I have this, like, vivid memory of being at my elementary school on the playground, literally sharing, I'm holding my baggie of Pokemon cards and we're sharing rumors or whatever. Like, I remember the first time I heard someone be like, oh yeah, if you something Dragonite evolves into Yoshi or whatever, right? and I'm like, that would be a thing. Yeah, that would be a thing that like someone would accidentally do, and it becomes a legend, and they're trying to make up reasons for why it would happen. I can kind of appreciate it for that.
An NPC somewhere that gives you
a hint,
a start, and it doesn't have to be big, just like something small, or even like. Well, if there was like a Runerigus carving in that like little desert section of the wild area, and so then you kind of go, Runerigus is connected here. It doesn't outright tell you your Yamask has to be below half health and you have to walk under this specific, rock. It doesn't tell you that, but it kind of lets you know there is some kind of tie between this area and Runerigus.
And now you know to like at least be in that area.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
That's what I appreciated about Arceus is that the NPCs actually felt like they were part of that world, because most of them would give you some kind of cool lore about the area or a side quest that directly relates to them. Like some guy really wants to make like the perfect, I forgot what it was, but he would have you gather berries because he's like a chef or whatever. So it made them feel they are actually part of that world. So that's what I would like to see in Gen 10 compared to Scarlet and Violet.
I think wasn't there even someone who like they were like a hairstylist and they wanted you to like bring them Pokemon so that they could like learn new hairstyles, and then that was cool too, because then the reward there is that now you have more hairstyles that you can change your hair to be.
I just played Leaf Green, and I was struck. I never noticed this, but I was struck by how one of the major themes of that game is like that it's good to help out your neighbors, and like every single thing in that game, you could call it a side quest, but it's kind of the main quest, right? But every single thing that allows you to progress further is tied to like helping another NPC. with like kind of just a regular task, right? Like Bill screws up and you have to press a button on his PC to like fix him, right? Or like what's something else?
The tea. The
Yes.
guy who is thirsty and you have to go get
100%.
tea.
Yeah. Or like
scratch the captain's back.
Yep, exactly. It's
Right.
they're like right, like the warden loses his teeth. You have to retrieve his teeth. It's so stupid, but they're little things in the world that you're helping and you're making a difference with that. And that I don't know, and I feel like that's something that's kind of carried out, but maybe hasn't been a primary. It hasn't been in the forefront of these Pokemon games. And when we talk about side quests or purpose, I think honestly maybe that's something that we're missing, right? For all the hate that Kanto gets, I don't think it's as overrated as maybe we thought it was. I think it does a lot of things that are. I mean, it literally is the blueprint for Pokemon.
No,
games.
it paved the way.
I wouldn't go that far.
Kanto fatigue does not come from a hate of Kanto or thinking it's overrated. My Kanto fatigue comes from anytime they revisit it as it was, and it's like, just give it a little more life, bring it up to speed a little bit, because it absolutely would be one of my favorite regions if they just gave it a little love every time it came back instead of just giving us the same Kanto over and over and over again.
What do you mean? Let's Go had Mega Evolutions. Weren't that
Right.
the best implementation of Megas?
I want the next Legends game to be a Kanto game. So there's like imagine a Kanto game that has like real world battles like the anime, right? There are Megas. There's 3D environments. We could actually see Kanto in a 3D space. I think it is so much more possible now than ever that we get another Kanto remake that's actually different, because the new Switch 2 like considers the Switch games like the same. Like, so there already is a faithful Kanto game on Switch, right, on the current system. Now in this next generation, they could actually be like, all right, if you want to play classic Kanto, you got Let's Go. If you want to play a new Kanto, we got Legends Indigo or whatever, right? Legends Mewtwo. That's what I want to see, man.
They'll do it, but the entire game is set on the SSN.
Ah!
Oh, no.
No, dude, that would suck. Actually, that would actually not be
It's
that
a
bad.
murder mystery. You know how there's that one guy who's like, I'm international police on the SSN. You're now playing as him, and you have to solve who poisoned the captain.
Dude,
and
that's
made him sick.
I mean, I would expect it to be experimental.
Yeah, I know. It's like you're making a joke, but yeah, they would do something crazy like that.
We'll throw in Animal Crossing in there every day. Different NPCs show up. You have
I
to
would
wait
like
in
that.
real time.
I would like that. I would like that.
Fun.
And boards like they let you know, hey, we're docked at Castelia City. You cannot get off the cruise ship and see it, but we're here, and Iris might get on the ship.
Oh my god!
Which, by the way, that was a scrap feature of Sun and Moon. We learned that from the Terra Leak. That was like literally how Sun and Moon was gonna work.
Oh my god!
The part of it, the battle cruise.
I didn't see that part, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, they were gonna have the battle facility of that game was supposed to be a cruise ship, and it would dock at different places around the Pokemon world, and you wouldn't be able to get off and see those places, but like they'd let you know, hey, we're in Slateport City, and there'd be a chance that like Wally gets on your ship or something, and then now you can battle Wally in the battle cruise.
That's kind of
so
cool.
that sounds like it became the battle tree, kind of.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I missed that.
It just had other features too. Like there were multiple kinds of battle. Like there was like a team battle where like you could team up with like 4 other people or something like that, and it was like or probably 3 other people because they like to do that 4 number. But like so it's like I can team up with Wally, Annabelle, and Cynthia, and we're going together in this battle facility, having to fight Grimsley, Hal, Lily, and Kukui or something.
No, I think that's so cool. I think that's so cool.
Weird.
I would like to do, and I think there's a possibility we might see some of that in the what's it called, the not the battle zones, but the
CA.
Yeah, in ZA in that tower league that we're doing.
I mean, we're talking about side quests, right? Like, I think that there will be hopefully side quests in ZA that are like not related to all of that, but battles as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to talk a little bit about leaks?
Yes, in fact, I have a great segue into it based on what you're saying. Talking about characters returning. So, Mo,
Spoiler warning.
I think you said
Spoiler
this, but
warning.
yes, spoiler warning.
We won't go too deep.
I'm even gonna check with you just to make sure. You know the 26 leaked megas, right? Okay, so that's not a spoiler. Say this, just making sure. I didn't want to like say something. You'd be like, no, why did you tell me?
So the number is not. The number is up in the air a little bit. So
but like these Pokemon at least will be in it. Well, there is a mega for Chandelure, there is a mega for Electros, and there is a mega for Excadrill. And the interesting thing about that is Chandelure, I think, is a part of the... No, I know for a fact Chandelure is a part of the Kalos Dex. But interestingly enough, Excadrill and Electros are not a part of the Kalos Dex. So if I am to use some Copium a little bit, those are Pokemon that are used by Emmett.
Yep.
The brother of Ingo. So can we maybe see Emmett come back and tie it in to finish off Ingo's story a little bit, please?
Very cool.
Was it Ingo in Legends Arceus?
Yeah.
Okay, so so his brother would be in this game. That would be pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, and
it
his...
It actually kind of makes sense though, Lumi. I just thought about this, but like the whole thing about ZA is like you get to the A rank and you get a wish at the end. What if you're like you just see Emmett is part of the battle, the ZA Royale?
Yes.
Because he's trying to get to the top to wish that his brother would come back. Like,
and we have to
literally-
defeat him, so he's forever alone.
Literally, yeah. See, that's my thing. Is I don't think they'll do that because for one, I don't think the wishes work like that. I think it's like something you can do for the city because like I don't know. They can just like can I get through the
I like
make it to
Soul.
rank A and look at Quasartico or whoever's hosting these ZA Royals and go, I want to become king of the universe. You know, like I mean, I want to become a god. Is it like a genie thing?
They're like,
But,
I think there's a Burger King down the
you don't know
street.
if
We'll
it's
get you a
not Hoopa.
crown.
You don't know if it's not Hoopa up
Emmett's
there, just giving
Pokemon
wishes out.
in Black 2, and White 2, Emmett's
True, it's a
Pokemon
G.
team is literally Excadrill, Haxorus, Chandelure, Electros. Excadrill, Electros, and Chandelure all are
can't have
getting
all of them.
megas
He can't
in
have all of
this
them.
game. So I'm like, literally his ace is Electros, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be in this game with a mega. It's not a part of the Kalos deck, so why is it here? You know, I feel like he's gotta.
Yeah,
So Electros has a pretty weird mega. Not going to describe it, but it kind of reminds me. Has anyone interpreted it kind of like a train?
No, I
Battle
haven't
Subway.
interpreted it at all because
Or Subway. I mean, yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah,
No, yeah, my brain goes Battle Subway when you mention it.
instantly, yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
So-
Yeah.
The description we were given for it was so like confusing. Anyways, I cannot get a vision in my head. You know what
Sure,
I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Which is good. We don't really want all
it was
that
so vague.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
We like to speculate and think about what it
A lot, yeah,
I mean,
a lot of these
the-
leaks come out, and
the,
I don't even want to see them half the time. I kind of compartmentalize them, and I go, "Oh, cool, that's awesome," and then I don't think about them when we're not recording, so I kind of forget stuff because I just want to speculate.
The black and white inclusion overall, like the amount of black and white megas, I should say, that alone is kind of.
Yes.
I mean, they're definitely trying to make you think black and
Yeah.
white remakes, right?
Oh boy, we don't need to go there.
Even the original X and Y had a lot of black and white love, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got Zekrom and Reshiram in the Parfum Palace Gardens. You have in Sycamore's lab, he's got like posters of the Unova starters like all over his lab, and I think
It's
some
not
other
even just the
Pokemon too, like
starters.
Audino, Sigilyph.
Every Pokemon that he has in his lab is a Gen 5 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Just
like it was the game before it, so maybe they were just kind of nodding at it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they do that at all. Like Scarlet and Violet, I didn't feel like had a
Not
lot
normally.
of nods to Sword and Shield, and I don't feel like Sword and Shield had a lot of nods to Sun and Moon. So it's a little odd.
Yeah.
I do think it'd be cool though, like you were mentioning, if like certain of the rank up trainers in the ZA Royale were actually named NPCs, like known characters.
Yeah.
That would be.
It'd almost feel like a missed opportunity if they weren't. If it's all just random people.
Right.
It'd be really boring, really. Like,
Right.
you know, I was going to say it's just Zach, but not to say anything.
Yeah, Zach is
What's wrong with Zach?
Yeah,
It's
imagine
just
if it was
Zach.
just Mateo. That would
Yeah,
that
but-
would blow.
Just Zach and Eva. Yeah, my name's
Hey,
not as normal as the rest of them.
look, don't be hating on my guy Zach. He is gonna get rid of all
Yeah.
transportation except for taxis.
Yo, if E is Aria, I'm gonna be pissed.
By the way, yeah, that is another thing too. That like, if if it is like the wish thing and Emmett comes back and he's like, my wish is to revive my pretty much dead brother. You know, as far as he knows, he's dead. Yeah. And then you go, nope, and you beat him and get up there so you can wish for something stupid.
That's hilarious. That's gonna be
a meme. New Mega Stone, you know?
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I would like 999,999 Poké Dollars.
But you do have like 2 other standouts in this leaked mega list are Phalanx and Drampa, and I think like, what are they doing here?
I don't think that means anything. I think they're just
maybe
trying
not
to diversify how many megas exist.
Maybe not. Because you got to think like it could.
This
be
is
the past trainer returning.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
like,
okay, yeah.
Okay.
That could be real.
I'm thinking like
I was gonna push back. We're not getting Gen 7 remakes.
Oh no! Well,
I was I'm not.
And Phalanx, it's a Gen 7 and a Gen 8.
Yeah,
They're just standouts from Kalos. Like they didn't revisit a bunch of Pokemon. They didn't even revisit.
But who had those Pokemon?
Special Pokemon. Like we were talking about Zeraora.
Nobody really.
But yeah, nobody. We were talking about Zeraora potentially getting a Mega. Looks like that's not panning out. Looks like seemingly maybe. But my thing is like. These were 2 random picks, Drampa and Phalanx. I cannot off the top of my head think of a trainer that uses Phalanx and Drampa like as their ace. I know B uses Phalanx, the fighting type gym leader, and Sword and Shield. And then I think Ryuki uses a Drampa, but it's not his ace in Sun and Moon.
I was thinking it's just Pokemon that there's no fan art of.
Yeah. That could be that could be part of it too.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
We talked about that on the Patreon episode as well. I think
pretty popular though.
I guess what I'm thinking about is like there has not been so Megas debuted in Generation 6. All the Megas were pretty much from Generation 5 or no, really just 1 through 4
and below.
1 through 4, yeah. And I think because Megas are not like so for a decade or more, Megas have not only just shown up in X and Y, but they also showed up in Pokemon Go and Pokemon Unite and well maybe not Unite. But they show up in these other
Unite.
They show up in these other formats, right? That we're not thinking about. So I feel like this new era, this is a new round for Mega Evolutions to show up, to be introduced. So now they can be trickled alongside all these other like supporting games.
Yeah, like, Mega Mewtwo's in Unite at least.
Yeah. Okay. So like I think it makes sense to like have representation of these Megas. I think what I'm really looking forward to, and maybe we can jump to some just like visionary topics, like what we'd like to see in Generation 10, right?
I had one question actually before we move on from that.
Hold that thought. I got the ultimate rebuttal, and that is you can go to shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com right now to check out all of our new merchandise, all of our shirts, hats, hoodies. We got so much stuff on our website. That is part of the Legendary Aura collection. This is entirely themed around the Kalos region, specifically at night. And it was made to correspond, and it was inspired by Pokemon Legends ZA. So we got the new starter trio right here: Tepig, Chikorita, and Totodile. We got a bunch of designs with these awesome Pokemon. We got some Zygarde merch. This shirt is sick. I have yet to order this, but this is our best seller. The Legendary Aura Zygarde t-shirt. One of our best there. We also got the classic Kalos starters. We've got this awesome shirt right here designed by our designer Noivi. It's got a bunch of Kalos Pokemon on the back here.
Gives me Mystery Dungeon vibes. I love that.
It does, man. Yeah, it really does. Like those little square
little icons when
emotes,
they would be talking.
Right?
Yeah.
What's so great is a lot of these items are actually. I gotta order this shirt. This is the one that I haven't gotten yet. It's so clean. But a lot of these designs are embroidered, right? So they're not just a standard screen print, right? But they're actually embroidered. There's a level of detail there that I'm personally so proud of. I'm about to buy this hat. This is the hit. It's got Hidden Power right on the front. Established 2022. But what's so cool is the little side sigil, the little side patch. Again, is totally embroidered. Like there's no screen
the
printing.
Picture below that one. Look how much he loves that hat.
That's me.
Look at that.
That's me, guys.
Yeah.
I'm that handsome.
He loves the hat.
I am that handsome. I think I'm gonna get this green one. I think this looks so cool. And
ripped, though.
No, it looks so sick. We also have one of our best sellers is the Hidden Legacy collection. And this is something that we launched in the summertime, but listen, I am in New Hampshire favorite. And it was snowing earlier today, but in the rest of the world, it is April. And with April showers brings the May flowers, right? Spring is here. Mm-hmm. Spring is here, and I'm looking towards summer. Getting closer to Legend ZA and going to the beach. And if you want to get ahead of that, we got this awesome design right here, Hidden Legacy. So cool. So many little inside jokes on this collage of a design on the back. There's actually a Dragonite right here. Which is pretty cool.
And, oh my gosh. And look at that right below it.
A little
Mega Dragonite, anyone?
All right. Well, if you want to support the show, if you want something more tangible, shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. Go support the boys. Go support us. Get yourself something nice.
If you're a member, you get 10% off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
assuming that it pans out, there's Megas for Meganium for Alligator and then Embor. How do you guys feel about the trios not being complete?
I don't care. Yeah. I think people are crazy about it. I think
I do
Pokemon fans want everything to match, but like they don't need to, and they haven't for a long time.
It's not about matching. It's just they don't.
Why did it? Why
them out? Like,
so why does Incineroar not have a regional form?
Snivy gets nothing.
Why does Snivy not have a regional form?
Yeah, that's sad that Snivy gets nothing. That's what I'm most sad about. I don't know. I'm waiting to see what they're planning on doing with Megas going forward. Because here's my thing: is if they are, if they want Megas to become a staple part of the franchise, just like regional forms, that's like a staple part of the franchise now. At least like even if they don't do new regional forms, you have access in like in Scarlet and Violet. When Weezing was added to the game, Galarian Weezing was also added to the game. So if they do that with Megas, if they make Megas something that's just, it's here now, it's going to be in the game, it's a part of the game, I'm fine with it. And I feel like there's a chance they might, because they, Dusty, you just mentioned, they've got Megas and all these things. They've got them in Pokemon Go. They've got them in Pokemon Unite. Even in Gen 8, they were completely absent from the games. They weren't bringing down Shiny Pearl, weren't in Legends Arceus, weren't in Sword and Shield. And yet they made a point to, in the anime, have these opponents using Mega Evolutions and even gave Ash access to Mega Evolutions. So, like, Pokemon doesn't want you to forget about Mega Evolution. So if this is their way of, like, kind of bringing them back and going, they're going to be a part of the franchise, I won't care. That said, if Gen 10, Megas aren't in, and like it's another, how long has it been since Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? So 6 years. It's another 6 years until I see Mega Evolutions again. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little upset because like Meganium finally got its moment, and you're just gonna take it away the very next game.
But you're not taking it away though, because that game lives forever. This is the thing we don't think about, right? You're not taking it away. Legend ZA is gonna be forever.
I wouldn't say forever. But
and it will also be in the other games you mentioned, like Pokemon Go, or if they do another Let's Go in the future.
It will 100% be in Champions. I think Champions is the solution to all of that. Like
yeah.
You have that for now.
I think,
and I'm not saying I disagree with you, Lumi. I guess like we can't ignore that. I get you. That's all.
It's true. It's a big part of it, but it is like because that is still selective, right? Like there are plenty of people. I know I'm like this, but I know there are plenty of others who they play the mainline games, but they don't play Pokemon Go. They don't play Pokemon Unite. So
yeah, for sure.
It's a different kind of game. Yeah. Like if Pokemon Go was like the same turn-based battles that I'm getting in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, I'd play Pokemon Go. But
Soul's favorite Pokemon is Ultra Necrozma, and he hasn't been able to play that in so long, dude. So yeah, if Mega Meganium,
blame him because he got attached to something that was attached to a Z move, man.
Yeah,
Soul. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I have to live with it forever.
Yeah, what are the Eternamax Eternatus fans are in shambles too.
Right?
Yeah, not even playable. I actually love.
You were gonna say something though?
No, I actually love the Nihilego fusion with Lusamine. I think that design is incredible.
Sick. Yeah, right? Pokemon Fusion is going to happen one day.
Gen 10. Gen 10. Yeah, what were you going to say, Mo?
Oh, that my take on it was that, at least for starters specifically, I do think it's weird, but I agree with you that they always are breaking these patterns that people have in their minds.
Yeah.
But,
for sure.
And it's a big but. DLC for ZA?
Yeah.
No?
We kind of saw a deal. It was an unpaid update or a DLC. It was essentially, literally DLC for Legends Arceus.
But there was no new Pokemon in it. That's the only thing.
Sure.
But I feel like with ZA, depending on what it is, if there's actually like another map added on, or if it's just battling exclusive, I could see them doing more megas that way, maybe rounding out the trios.
Yeah.
I think that makes a ton of sense. For one, when these leaks started, 2 numbers were being thrown around, and it was 27 and 32.
Yeah.
And we're now landing on 26. And I feel like those other numbers may have come from somewhere, you know what I mean? And so like maybe there's even like maybe in the coding for the game, that's all speculation of course, but maybe in the coding for the game there's 32 slots, and 6 of them have been scrubbed, you know what I mean? So like people are going, okay, well this could be DLC, or it could just mean Pokemon completely scrapped a design, like how Spidops was supposed to have an alternate form. That didn't happen in DLC. It was scrubbed. So like that's one answer to it. But I do think, Soul, you mentioned earlier the development cycle of ZA and its original release cycle. ZA was supposed to release last year. Gen 10 supposed to release 2026. What was going to happen in 2025? Because
they already leaked.
Could have been. Oh yeah, you're right. They have that there was supposed to be DLC
planned. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought we were talking about Rodeo. What happened to Pokemon Rodeo?
Bro,
dude, I was like,
dude, it was like fully developed, and they just got rid of it. What happened?
I still want Rodeo. That would look good.
I think
considering
that could
like,
show
the
up. That could
idea
show up
of it,
next year.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Rodeo was almost inspiration for the real-time battles kind of thing.
Yeah, it does look like that
Dude,
a little.
I'm telling you, if all y'all get together like y'all did with Pokemon Sleep, they'll bring it back.
It's true. Yeah, we got to protest. We gotta go.
We gotta go to
Washington.
Or they totally killed off Sleep.
Yeah. Listen, I played Sleep for a long time. I had to put it down. But
I play Sleep every night.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Like what other Pokemon games do you enjoy? Or like how does Pokemon fit into your life?
No, I actually do not play Pokemon Sleep. I just meant actually sleeping. But
sure.
No,
I did play it for a long
Sleep
time.
More stressful. Like I couldn't sleep when I was anxious about like getting good sleep. That would make me worse at the game.
That's hilarious. That's the literal opposite effect they probably wanted.
My phone would heat up in the middle of the night, and I'd freak out because it would shut off. And I'm like, okay, I have to reset my phone. I gotta make sure I get the next 4 hours, and then I'd do all that. I'd sleep horrible. I'd wake up, and then my pulls for the day, like the Pokemon that would show up, were not. It was like Caterpie. Even 2 years in, I'm like, my Pokemon are level 50. Like I've been sleeping with this Wigglytuff forever. Like my Dragonite's so powerful. Like why am I still pulling Rattata and Metapod?
Yeah, I turn a lot in my sleep, so I was just never getting anything good.
No. I know. And our dog sleeps at the foot of our bed, so it's like motion. You're moving.
The smallest switch.
That's not you.
Yeah. How else do you enjoy the series though? Like I don't know if you collect cards or if you, I don't know. I feel like I used to play. I guess what I'm thinking about is like I used to like walk the walk when it came to like my Pokemon obsession until I started creating content, and now I feel like I like actually avoid Pokemon in other capacities other than the video games.
Yeah, I was really into cards up until Sword and Shield, literally right around when the COVID and all the scalping started. I feel like I dropped off at the right time in a way.
Yeah,
maybe not financially, like but up until then, and then weirdly, I feel like the Scarlet and Violet cards, I don't know if it's a quality thing or like they're just don't really call out to me anymore.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I actually like the standard arts. I guess I don't really care for the full arts that much. I'm kind of nostalgic where I'm like, I just want the cool art in the box, you know?
Yeah. I think they're slowly going back to it though. They're releasing some sets where it's like the tag trainers. Cool. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, no, I honestly love the games. Like even in my free time, I mainly play fan games, but it's still Pokemon, technically.
Yeah.
No, totally. Yeah. I've been trying to get back.
Like playing with those creatures.
I've been playing Polished Crystal recently. I've been playing all the legacy games, but I've also I spent the last year just playing like real Pokemon games, which was actually kind of fun to do. To be like, wow, these hold up. These are fun. You know. And anyways.
Yeah, but did you finish any of them?
I finished Sword. I finished Leaf Green.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud. You finished Leaf Green?
Yeah, I beat the Elite Four. I'm in the Sevi Islands.
Okay. Okay.
It's good.
Cool.
It's good. It's good. I'm taking my time. I
Dusty
gotta
has a habit of starting a Pokemon game, playing to like the third gen, and then picking up another Pokemon game. How's that
multiplayer
Ruby and Sapphire game?
You know what? I'm gonna bring that to the channel. We're gonna live stream that. That would be fun to do because I think it's so much fun.
It's actually kind of crazy because it reminds me of like if you guys have ever bought pre-owned Pokemon games and you just have some random person's file.
Yeah.
So in like 5 years you'll forgotten about your old playthrough. You'll be like, wow, I
do that. I actually do that. I'll pick up a game from like I'm like, oh, I haven't played this since like 2019, and I'm like, wow, there's a cool team on here. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Let's talk a little bit about Gen 10 and what we want to see in the future. We're talking about. There's a lot of questions up in the air. What's up?
I do want to get most thoughts on like just overall on the leaked megas, like if there's any that you're like particularly like excited for, like oh wow, that sounds so cool.
Or just what you think about
Mega
it all in
Zeraora
general.
sounds sick. I would love to see a Mega Zeraora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
That would be nice.
News for you.
Oof.
No, Mega Flygon too? No.
Bro, Mega Nidoking's going to be an immediate staple on my team. I can't wait to use Mega Nidoking.
I need to pull up the image to remind myself.
Bro, Primal Xerneas,
I wouldn't
get out of here.
I wouldn't give up hope though on Mega Zeraora. I think they could still like show it in the anime, and then eventually it'll come to the game. I really think it's possible.
And it could be like a tie-in too. Like, what if when they release Champions, they go, "Oh, hey, and you play Champions, you get a Mega Zeraora, which you can also use in Legends EA or something."
Yeah, and I was thinking that too. And every time like I'm kind of streaming or someone brings it up in my comments, I'm like, Mega Jinx almost happened. So I feel like, and because I think these leaks are from like a earlier build, right? So there could be some that get scrapped as well, or even ones that we don't know about.
Yeah, which would be best case scenario.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, imagine next trailer they reveal a Mega and it's not one of those 26.
Yeah.
People would go nuts,
I know. It would throw everything out the window immediately.
That'd be amazing.
Which is fun. That's fun.
Right.
That's fun.
Which is like smart on their end. Like if you're Game Freak and you're listening to this, like thanks. But also like you need to like real quick go on your game, throw in just Mega Flygon, just make it, throw it in the game, and then next trailer debut it. And immediately everyone's going to start questioning the legitimacy.
That is literally the way for them to end the leaks.
Yeah.
If they just did it. Just one.
If you've got DLC planned, just move one of those over to the base game.
Here's the what do they call it? The monkey's part of that is instead of Mega Flygon, they show Mega Charizard Z.
Yeah.
Love that.
Or speaking about the real monkey's paw, it's Mega Simisage.
Yeah, they're like thinking this, and they're like, "Okay, make a new Mega." And one guy's like, "The only Mega we can come up with is Mega Diggersby," and it's like,
"No!"
I guess we'll do it.
His feet are giant, or ears as well.
Yeah,
crazy.
Okay, I was looking at him, and I got it. I'm actually most excited for Mega Scrafty. Just because I can't even imagine what they would do for that. And I also really like Scrafty. Like, I think he's just a cool little guy.
No.
Yeah,
is it because he kind of looks like a munching orange?
It could be.
The head is a little bit like an orange. I do see that.
I used to have a little mohawk, too. That was my old style.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Back in X and Y. Or no, back in black and white. Yeah.
You're that punk rock NPC.
I was like, that's really old or really far back.
Yeah.
Drumpa's also like both Drumpa and Phalanx. I just want to know what the heck, like, what are they doing there? What?
Yeah, it's awesome though.
I think Victory Bell could be pretty cool. Actually, honestly, no, Skarmory I'm actually stoked about just because I've always loved Skarmory, and I thought it was just going to be forgotten forever. So
what I really want to know is like which one's going to be the like Hisui and Zoroark of the whole batch. You know what I mean? Where it's like there's just like that really.
The one is universally adored. Scolipede, man, it's so mega pilled. Like it's so like it looks like it's on the cusp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Scolipede, I don't think is like it's not.
I hope so.
I don't think it's a Shilmon
Give
like
my
that.
bug some love.
No, it's cool.
It's gonna be Dragonite, right?
But Dragonite's not like super cool. It's like
I think you're alone on that, Soul. Dragonite's super cool. People love even
Dragonite is dopey. Like. It's not like
no, he's doughy. It's not dope.
Depends on the game though, because Black and White Dragonite is badass.
Yeah,
the sprite. You know, he's like
the sprite. Yeah,
I could
But
see it.
I'm
And the
seeing.
anime
I
too.
think the most underrated
Scrafty
might
could
be
be it.
Barbarical. Then, right?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Barbarical, sure.
I literally have a tweet written up that's just like, I think we're sleeping on Barbarical.
I mean,
Yeah, like, I use the
I forget if you
Barbarical
know
in my
about
X and
stuff.
Y
Like, do you
playthrough.
know about the types?
He doesn't know about the descriptions. And
Okay,
all.
okay.
No. I mean, if you guys talk descriptions, I'm fine. But the types, I'll draw the line there. You
No,
know?
I won't say it.
Yeah, no. We won't talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Dragalge could be a cool one too. I mean, maybe this makes me like your basic stereotypical Pokemon player,
Yep,
but like
it
I
does.
see a Dragon type getting a Mega, and I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
you know. So Dragalge, Drampa, Dragonite.
Hawlucha is kind of a fan favorite as well, because that's the thing about the Megas. They really did, like, the original group of Megas. It was all about the fan favorite Pokemon. And I think there's a lot of fan favorites here. There's obviously a lot of, like, weirdos here, but Hawlucha, I feel like people love Malamar. Obviously, a lot of the starters.
Even Clefable.
All the Gen 5 ones are fan favorites. Chandelure, Electros, Scolipede, Scrafty, Excadrill. Those are probably, like, the top most popular Gen 5 Pokemon, I would say.
Frostlass, I
Skarmory,
think,
too,
is
I
another
feel
big
like.
one. Skarmory, yeah.
Do people like Skarmory? I thought I was alone in that.
I love Skarmory so much.
The VGC and what's it called? Like OU players, definitely.
I love Skarmory, and then I feel like it just got overshadowed by Corviknight. Corviknight just did its job better, at least like I would use one competitively. It was kind of stally, and then there was Corviknight, and then there was the 20-minute battle limit, and I was like, I gotta get a new strat.
Corviknight's also just a better design, so
Yeah. But that's why you could say Skarmory needs the Mega to make it compete again.
Sure.
yeah.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
sick.
I
wish it doesn't, but I wish Skarmory got like a dragon type or something. That'd be cool.
That'd be insane.
the Kalos starters too would be like
Sure.
a potential like that's another fan favorite one.
Absolutely.
That I think, people have been wanting. Which that's the wildest thing to me is that you believe these leaks, then you're getting Mega Johto starters. The Mega Kanto starters will be there. Possibly the Mega Hoenn starters will be there.
Let's go.
And then the Mega Kalos starters as well.
Yeah.
So like just starters galore here, man.
Yeah,
Legend starters.
Yeah,
Dude.
Legend starters. That's exactly right.
Maybe this is the thing where it's like every Legends game in the future is going to introduce or incorporate Mega Evolution, right? Like Legends Arceus in a lot of ways was kind of a tech demo for what we're looking at now. Like just seeing how much the battle system has progressed. And I feel like there's like new things that are in line with Legends Arceus, but like are more clearly defined. Obviously the time period is different, right? The setting is different. I think the vibe, the aesthetic of the game is different, but the gameplay seems like a very clear progression from Legends Arceus. So like if future games have this type of battle system and right, we're still capturing Pokemon in the overworld, there'll still be differences game to game to make each game different. I could see Megas, being in all the Legends game going forward. I mean, the
next one's going to be Legends Hoenn, and they're all going to be convergent species. Every single one.
You're doing Legends Hoenn, do Megas again. Hoenn's a region with naturally occurring Megas.
No, but see, you gotta think the opposite of what.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's not a Pokemon game. It's a Digimon
what
game.
What doesn't make sense is Hoenn always has Megas. Whatever. Now,
sure.
Let's do the opposite, where we don't have Megas
Soul
at all.
sounds burned.
I'm telling you right now, Legends Kanto. It's all set on the SSN, and for some reason it'll be Dynamax.
Oh my
Bro,
god!
If they did a Legends,
it'll sink the
kaiju Pokemon in the ocean. Like,
that's actually sick, though. That's kind of cool.
Like Godzilla fighting.
That's actually kind of sick, though, Lumi.
That would be cool.
I mean, we got a game with barely any trainer battles with Arceus, so now they got to do the only trainer battles game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Occasionally, like a Magikarp flops onto your ship and you have to battle it or something,
That is the Godzilla thing is actually kind of sick though, because it's the ocean, right?
Yeah.
There's that episode with the giant Dragonite in the anime too.
Yeah.
That's instantly what I thought.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more time. Mo, what are you thinking about when you close your eyes and you think about what comes after Legends ZA, right? Maybe you're thinking about the 30th year anniversary. You're thinking about Generation 10. What comes to mind? What's something that you think we need to see, or that would make you happy as a Pokemon fan in the next generation of Pokemon?
to deepen thought.
Yeah, I'm picturing it right now. Not fully open world, but open areas like Arceus with traditional routes kind of interconnecting them.
Okay.
Yep,
is kind of what I would picture for if they wanted to keep leveling up what they've been working on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I guess the difficult part with that is just like, I guess maybe once you've completed the route, you can just fast travel between them kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I would kind of hope for.
Maybe they could do a thing where it's like, it is a linear route, more or less. But like, once you, like, as you progress through the game, like ever before, now you go back to those routes and with the new things that you've unlocked, right? Maybe you've unlocked new ride functionality. HMs, right, is essentially the same thing. Now, every route that you go back to is completely open world, right? Where you can go off the path, right? So it's only like kind of linear in a sense, right? It's only on first pass, right? And so truly a fusion is kind of what you're describing.
That makes a lot of sense too. Like, yeah, because in most open world RPGs at the beginning, you're more limited in terms of like how you're just walking, you know, but you unlock some kind of mount or other ways of traveling. Like in Pokemon, that makes a lot of sense. You literally, in Legends Arceus at least, as you unlock the mounts, you get to explore more parts of the areas you already visited.
Yeah.
So it could still work as a seamlessly connected world.
I'm playing polished. Yeah.
Yeah, like at the beginning, at least, the first time you're going through it, it feels linear. But in reality, yeah, you don't know what's lurking beyond those trees kind of thing.
Absolutely. I'm playing Polished Crystal right now. It's a ROM hack of Crystal version. And obviously, like we're describing, any Pokemon game, you get Surf, and now you're like able to unlock and backtrack so much of the region. But what I've discovered in the game, it's really cool. Once I got Surf, the whole Johto region becomes truly open world where I can surf, I guess, west of Goldenrod, and that leads into the World Islands, right? I can also go south from there and pop up in Cherry Grove City. And that's just a little bit of what I've done, which I think is so cool, right? And I think there's glimpses of that in Scarlet and Violet, definitely. Like where you're like in a tunnel and then you like get out of the cave and you're like at the edge of the ocean, right? On the cliffside, right? There's some really cool, like some really cool I guess exploration like that. So yeah, I definitely want to see more of that.
I think we'll appreciate Scarlet and Violet more after Gen 10 because we'll at least be able to see that Scarlet and Violet limped so that Gen 10 could run. Yeah, you know,
Scarlet and Violet was murdered.
Yeah.
So
I don't know about it.
Walking, dude couldn't even walk.
It was crawling.
Crawl, baby, army crawl. You know.
Yeah. I will say, like, I mean, we saw on Twitter, like, there was a really cool render. I don't even know how it was technically achieved, but there was a render or there was gameplay of Scarlet and Violet at like 60 frames a second.
I saw this.
It was running. It was performing.
That was pretty cool.
Really smoothly.
For a while, that video. It's been around a long time.
And the idea, I think it's relevant now more than ever because of the physical possibilities of the Switch 2, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's kind of a hope right now that like maybe maybe Scarlet and Violet will actually just look better on Switch 2, but we don't know yet. But I would imagine whatever next generation game we get, it's gonna. I hope it functions a lot better. I just want it to be a game that I'm proud of.
I would say it'll flow better, like perform better. I don't know about functioning or like looking so much crazier than like ZA.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think because like I was talking about them being kind of developed alongside each other. I think it'll be similar vibes, a different art style. Yeah, different art style.
I actually think it could be like a very similar art style.
It could be
to ZA. Well, in like ZA, I felt like it was similar to Scarlet and Violet. Or I say was like the game's out. It looks similar to Scarlet and Violet, but like slightly different. Like specifically in the faces, the like people look less like mannequins.
Yeah.
And so I think I kind of imagine that's kind of where Gen 10 will be at, where it looks like ZA but tweaked a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just crawling. Everyone's just crawling to this. We're walking.
I think, I guess also kind of tying back to like our conversation about champions, I think also like
full circle.
Yeah, like I feel like these gimmicks, these battle gimmicks, have kind of been like introduced and then forgotten. And I think I would actually like kind of a new experience where, you know, Generation 10 and future Pokemon games in general can kind of just pick and choose about what they introduce. We get a couple regional forms, we get a couple convergent forms, we get a couple megas. You know, I guess Dynamax and Z moves are a little bit tricky because, like, how relevant is that to the game? Canonically, it doesn't even make sense if it's outside of the region. But, like, I don't know. I guess I feel like a lot of these Pokemon games have been built in a way that's kind of rigid. And I'm always just, I don't know. I guess I just want, like, more of a, I don't want each mainline game to feel so different from what came before. Right? In my mind, all these Pokemon games, these regions, these experiences are like interconnected. They're actually part of that, right? That world, that Pokemon world. I like to imagine that like whatever I'm doing in Paldea, I could, if it was possible, I could get on that Dragonite, right? And I could go to Kitakami and the Blueberry Academy, but I could also go to Hoenn or I could go to Kalos, right? So I'm thinking about that a little bit.
Sure.
You guys see that animation, the Dragonite Postman?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's literally what happens. I'm just like, how fast is that Dragonite?
Dude, he's so fast. Fast.
Can we talk about the fact that now we know from leaks that there's a Mega Dragonite out there, and yet they did not debut it in that post-man story?
They were going to. I really thought
man.
We'll get a new version of it with the Mega
new
Dragonite.
Like that's such a missed opportunity.
It's insane they haven't revealed any new megas yet.
Oh, but that's next. That's next.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, for sure, it's got to be next.
Well, actually, yeah. Isn't that the final tease? In the last trailer, there's like the little pink glow.
Yeah.
Like,
are we assuming that's a
most
Mega
likely
Evolution?
That's a mega, right? That's what I think.
Yeah.
It's
gotta be. It's gotta be. It's gonna be megas. It's gonna be like a mega, and it's gonna be whatever the like Nobles equivalent is in this game, and that's what they'll reveal next.
I'm kind of boss.
I thought that was gonna be my wild theory, but I do think, it's a wild mega Pokemon in a sense.
Yeah.
It'd be a thing. It also makes sense gameplay wise if that's how you get Mega Stones in this game instead of just finding them on the floor. Like you have to defeat the wild Mega to like kind of earn the stone from them.
I would love that so much more. You know,
it feels kind of like Scarlet Violet.
I do like the side quests though. The idea of side quests maybe giving you some of them, like, you know, like I think about in Lumio City, you have like that Lumio's Ghost Girl. You know, wouldn't it be cool if like there's some kind of side quest tied to her where someone's like, hey, you know, I'm too scared to go into this, you know, building by myself. Will you go with me? And you go, and like at the end of it, you get the Frostlass site.
But I think I personally think a better way to do what you're describing is same thing where it is a side quest, but instead of just getting the stone, you're faced with a challenge, which is a Mega Frostlass to defeat.
Sure.
And you could either capture that, capture that Frostlass. Honestly, they could just do a thing where it's like whether you catch it or not, you still get the stone, but like the experience of battling that Mega Frostlass, I think that's awesome. I mean, that reminds me of like every time I play through Johto, I capture the red Gyarados, whether I want it or not, right? Because it is like this. It's just like it's what I got to do, you know.
It's a free shiny. You got it.
100%.
A combination would be awesome. Like you mentioned, Steven showing up for Mega Metagross too. You know, like there could be a side quest with him.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I heard reports of this, and there's a rampage, and maybe it's a shiny Metagross, right? Because there was because there was a shiny Beldum event for Oraz. So maybe he's like, oh, I heard there's a rampaging Metagross. Oh my gosh, it's Mega and it happens to be shiny or something.
Yeah, like the shiny Ponyta they give you in Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I hope that there are some side quests because, you know, Mo, you were talking about with Scarlet and Violet how like you just wish there was some kind of side quest or something to make you go to those areas like Sakurat Trail that you don't go to in normal gameplay. You have to go out of your way, but like force me to discover, encourage me, push me to discover, to explore. And so I think the idea of like, you know, side quests kind of rewarding you with like, a Frostlass boss battle where you get the Frostlass side at the end.
And it can have like a little mark, right? If you transfer it over to Scarlet and Violet.
And I get if you don't want to debut new megas that way, but then maybe do that for the old megas. Like, so, okay, maybe it's not Mega Frostlass. Maybe it's Mega Gengar.
Yeah. definitely.
Absolutely. And
we're in agreement though that just finding them on the floor would be lame, right?
Yes, yes, 100%.
And it makes no sense. Like someone would have picked that up.
Right.
It's the most expensive,
well,
powerful
no one
thing.
did because you exposed your bracelet to a rock between the hours of 6 and 7 p.m.
Is that actually how it works? Oh my god.
It's something like that. I don't know if I got the times down, but yes, that is how it works.
That's crazy.
But then there's this one guy who's just flipping them. He's literally a real scalper in Pokemon in Rudeo's.
All right. Yeah, I want to hear what Pokemon remake you want to see next.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh man.
Just put you on the spot.
I've embarrassed myself 2 years in a row now with Black and White, so
have we.
You know what? I don't think you've embarrassed yourself.
Don't worry.
I think we're all.
I think we've done it
we
worse,
all believed
actually.
it.
Yeah.
We all believed it.
There's a clip of us having a guest on, and he asked Soul. He goes, "Soul, give it to me straight. What are the chances we get Black and White next year?" And he said 20. This was in 2023. And Soul looks at that man. He goes, "Guaranteed."
Bro, there were real leaks. There were real leaks that said it was coming. Like, I was so sure.
Yeah.
It was crazy too. Scarlet and Violet had the building and everything.
The fact that we went to the Blueberry Academy.
We already talked about like all the
room.
Yeah, we already talked about all the connections that Kalos has with it, right?
Yeah.
With Unova too. So I was just like, gotta be.
No, dude, it wasn't just you, Saul. It wasn't. We all believed it.
No, it wasn't. We all did it. I was sure of it, and I was sure of it twice, right? Like, not twice. I didn't think it would happen this year. When we got to Pokemon Day, I knew it wouldn't happen, but I thought there was a chance they like announced it in like a January.
And it could be like we get the Faithful remakes, but then we get like Legends EA.
Yeah. Once we heard the Synapse news, like the Champions news, then it was like, oh, it's dead. It's absolutely dead.
But when I saw Champions, I was like, forget. I don't miss.
Yeah, who wants it? Yeah, I wanted Champions more than that for sure.
This is it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now, if I wanted to answer the question better, I think I'm with you that I would love to see a Kanto remake, but hold on.
Okay.
Open world, and we get Johto as well. So both regions and open world Kanto, I think would be sick.
That sounds incredible.
So you don't want it entirely set on the SSN?
No, please.
I just think there's I love that. I love that. There's so many possibilities because we've only seen Kanto and Johto in those top-down linear ways. If we can just see these regions opened up in 3D, I think it would do so much and it would sell well. I mean, to me, it's essentially like you have all the same magic of a remake, but it's bringing it up to the modern era. You know, yeah, I think that's like a true remake. You know.
Yeah, I think it would be sick if it's like the 16 gyms and they actually implement some kind of level scaling. It would work really cool. And you can throw the post game SSN in there still.
Yep.
Dreams, your dreams don't have to be memes.
I love that.
I really would love that so much.
It's all set in Diglett Cave.
Yeah.
Or Diglett Tunnel, whatever it is, the entire game.
An ambitious new title. Pokemon Legends Doug Trio.
Yes.
But yeah, man, I mean, with Legends EA or anything else Pokemon, is there anything else that's just like that's burning in your mind that you've been thinking about that you want to share?
I'm still shocked that they're actually doing the real-time battles thing. That's all I really think about nowadays, just because this past year, I actually played 2 fan games that had real-time battles in them.
Wow.
There's Pokemon Generations, I think it's called, not to be confused with the anime. This was a fan game that came out, I want to say like in 2015 or maybe even beyond.
Yeah.
That was 3D, fully 3D. It was like built in Unity, I think. And yeah, it's very similar actually to what we see in Legends EA, except you control just the Pokemon. Like you're not the trainer commanding the Pokemon.
Right. Gotcha.
And then there's a 2D game called, why am I blanking on the name? But yeah, it's the same thing, but 2D.
Okay.
I could probably pull it up.
Nice.
Is it Pokemon? Is it like a survival game?
Pokemon Reloaded is what it's called.
Okay.
No, it's not I think the survival game you're thinking might be Poke Wilds.
Yeah, that is what it is.
That one's pretty cool too, though.
I haven't played it.
But yeah, Pokemon Reloaded, it's like a traditional 2D experience, except the battles are real time, and it's pretty sick as well.
I think, not to circle back to this conversation, but I do think there are like small elements that they could implement that would just complement the existing turn-based system. Like, I think Jake mentioned this when he was on the pod, but like, this is a game I've played, Paper Mario, and it is a turn-based system, but there's a couple things with timing that, like, where we're at the right time, you press a button and you get either a bonus in power, or you can dodge an attack, or whatever it might be. There's a couple things like that are, it's still a turn-based system, but there's some timing elements, right, that make it feel a little bit more engaging, right? And I think stuff like that we could see in Generation 10 or Generation 11, right? In future Pokemon games, right? And that's not great. That's only in the next 5 years, right? Like those are things we could see in Pokemon games, which I think would be maybe a little bit more welcomed, especially with VGC.
Gen 11 in the next 5 years?
Yeah, or I guess 6.
It's true. No, that's 6. Like very possible, man. If Gen 10 is next year and it's a 4-year generation, 4 plus 1, that's 5 years.
Yeah, there was actually copyright issues with Ben 10. We were a little too close, so we're gonna just be skipping to Gen 11.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're right.
Call it 10, like Gen X instead of Gen 10. Yeah. Like, didn't iPhone do that? They called it like.
I can see that. And then they're like Gen X1, Gen X2, Gen X3.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
although, of course,
it's
they don't
Gen
even
with
use
a
the
Gen.
Gen terms.
It's Jen. It's like the woman protagonist.
I feel like that would be even closer to Ben 10. Though,
yeah,
now
that's
it's
what I'm thinking.
And then 10.
Yeah.
It's actually a hint, probably.
It's exciting. I don't know. It's exciting. I think after this conversation, and now that we've had like a little bit of time to cool off after the Switch 2 and the Legends ZA trailer, I think I've cooled off a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, I got to see some megas or maybe like, I guess I want to see what that campaign is gonna be like, because they introduced the Z to A battles, but I'm like, yeah, how much I want to see the exploration of the city.
Well, that's only at night. What's going on during the day?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm the opposite. I'm more excited about the battle part than the day part. Like, it's way more
interesting too, because the last little clip with the glowing pink is also at night, so it might not just be the ZA Royale going on at night. That could be where the nobles pop up too.
Yeah, I mean, Hoopo really could show up. There could be a whole store with Deontay. We don't know. We haven't seen anything with Xerneas or Yveltal. We haven't learned anything about Zygarde. Right? There's a lot of questions. And listen, I think today was fun. We're thrilled to have you on the podcast finally. We'll definitely invite you back. We do a lot of fun stuff when there's actual Pokemon news, live streams like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'd love to have you back on at some point. For anyone who doesn't know, this man, I don't know how you wouldn't know, but this man Munching Orange has been on YouTube forever. Please plug whatever you got going on right now.
Thank you.
There it is, right there in the description. Since 2009.
If you hadn't heard of me, maybe you knew me when you were 10.
Yeah.
That's the comment I get all the time. It's like, bro, I watched you when I was in my diapers.
Oh, boy.
2009, man, that is crazy.
That is insane.
Yeah,
Lumi was in diapers.
I had like I told you, I used to watch Smosh, so I did skits when I was in like 6th grade. So I was like 2006.
Are these on the channel?
No, that channel actually got hacked.
Nice, classic.
Oh no.
You really have so much
16 years ago. Video 16 years ago. That's awesome. So crazy.
That blows my mind.
Cool. It's nuts you still have all this stuff like active.
Can I ask why a solo Houndour run?
Well, I guess back then Houndour was probably in my top 10 as well.
Yeah.
So I was just like, and also it was one of the few Pokemon you could, I think it was like either really hard or post game in Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we gotta, Platinum, use one of the new Platinum Pokemon for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fun.
This is when Platinum actually came out. That's how old this is.
That's so cool. Though.
That is crazy, man. Were you happy with BDSP? I'm gonna take that as a no, and that's our show, guys.
we all felt the same.
Oh, I feel you, man.
Yeah, but thank you guys for having me on. No, it was fun, and definitely, like, I enjoyed the conversations you guys all have really interesting theories. So
Thanks,
it'd be fun to come back whenever we get more news and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure,
man.
bro.
All your
we
stuff
have little
is
parties too. So
Yeah, we
like,
do.
Yeah.
We do have a lot
we
of
do
parties.
live streams. So sometimes if you just want to hop on, just shoot us a text.
Yeah,
For
man.
sure.
Yeah. All of Mo's stuff is going to be linked in the description. And with that, we'll talk to you guys soon. Go check out. We have a whole nother hour conversation on Patreon. Yeah, that's available to Patreon members and YouTube channel members as well. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Thanks, Mo.